I can't believe we're on day 227 now. So if you've enjoyed watching, click like and share, and then I know people are actually still engaged. So we got this bucket yesterday, new to us. It's on Nerlo brackets, but unfortunately this hole is too far that way. So when we've been using it on the telehandler, rather than the machine resting on there, it's been resting on the pin. This, which is snapped, goes in here. You see it's snapped off. So I have to get a new one because all the seals have gone funny and everything now. 580 quid. So I'm going to put it in now anyway. It's not a big job, hopefully. Project Massey is coming on. We've got all the red panels now, looking all shiny. The bonnet and all grey around the back. And the cab's now all primed. They look like new when it's finished, hopefully. This is Andrew's COVID project, although he seems to be getting someone else to do it all for him. So I suppose you can mess around with the cab and all the filters and servicing it and doing all of the little bits once it's painted, because the cab's a bit tatty inside. So him and Adam will be playing at nights with this and that, putting them back together. Oh, Adam's already started, so he started putting the radiator back on this one, or at least the front anyway. So I'll take the pipe off here. There's a clip then, should slide out, drop the new one in, put the pipe back on. Job done, hopefully. That's a bit clearer now, so we drop this, take this off, undo that circlip, pull that out, slide the new one in. I just jet washed it first. So I've got my spanners painted orange so we don't lose them in the field. I used to have a set of these spanners with red handles on, but then everyone's decided to get the same set, so then you can never tell who's who, so I got someone painting them orange. There's a nice set in the John Deere dealership the other day, but they wanted £192 for them and they're only £30. Pipes off, put these clip pliers in there, if we can get them in the hole, and then squeeze that, expands the clip. We need two hands, so I'll have to put my phone down. Casting, so the pin doesn't want to slide out the bottom, so I'm going to have to get the grinder now and just polish that bit of steel so it drops out the bottom. I've got the circlip released. Got it out with the hammer and the grinder. Now to put the new one in, which is now quite tight. So I'm going to have to hammer this one in as well, which is a bit of a pain. So it's in now to put the spring circlip back on. Not a lot of people know this, but there's actually a right and a wrong way to put them. So if you look, the holes that side look smaller than, so it focuses, then won't focus, than the other side. So you may always make sure you got your pliers to the small side of the holes, stops them slipping off. All done now. There's a pin coming out the bottom that locks the buckets on. So I'll go and put the bale spike on and move some hay. Lads are just moving some more soil up to the back of Brookhouse to level the garden up in the field at the back. Christmas tree all I like. Just going to deliver some hay now, and this is where they've been levelling the back garden up. It's nearly there now. House looks well all lit up with the lights inside. Another thing I've been doing today is telling DEFRA about fertilizer, so watch this. There's a consultation out at the moment about urea fertilizer, how it's bad for the environment, blah de blah de blah de blah. Now ammonia levels are rising, and ammonia is basically given off by urea, but at the same time ammonia levels are rising. So we've got a graph here, so you've got ammonia levels rising, but you've also got at the same time NOx levels falling. Now, why are NOx levels falling and ammonia levels rising? Well, it's dead simple. Every diesel car made for the last sort of 10 years has to have in it what is called adblue. AdBlue is liquid urea injected into the exhaust to reduce the NOx levels. When you inject that into the exhaust, you're basically putting in, you're atomizing urea, turning it into ammonia. Ammonia can't move very far in the atmosphere, a few miles or whatever. So if it's rising in the cities, it isn't coming out of fields on farms. It's coming out of diesel engines with AdBlue systems, which every single one of them made after, I think, 2010 has to have in to meet modern European emission standards. So look at your data, DEFRA. Don't be blaming us with our urea, because our urea use hasn't gone up. The other thing is yeah, urea can be reused, ammonia can be gassed off into the atmosphere from urea used in hot climates. Our climate isn't very hot, and why are we going to spread urea fertilizer in the summer when we want to put it on in the spring? Doesn't add up. And also, if it was a hot day, we wouldn't use it anyway, because we don't want to lose it, because we've paid good money for it. Just look at your data before you start pointing the finger. And I don't know who's in charge of your department, but they need to speak to a scientist and someone that understands all this. I'm just a farmer, but I know how things work. Sorry, one last thing as well, actually, while we're talking about fertilizer. Why do we use it? Well, we use it as farmers to increase yield, so we can turn as much water and sunlight into food as possible, because that equates to return for us. That means that it takes the risk out of things. But also, if you've got a plant that's quite thin and spindly like that, and you give it fertilizer and it produces more seed head and more leaves and more biomass, that captures more carbon and puts it back into the soil and takes it out the atmosphere. Whereas if it doesn't have fertilizer, it's a lot smaller plant and it can't capture as much. So thanks for watching, everyone, and if you like it, click like and subscribe or whatever you do, and also any questions, just ask in the boxes.